Okay, so now this one says that gas under 200 kilopascal of pressure at a temperature of 120 Kelvin fills a 0.5 liter container. If the temperature decreases to 80 Kelvin, but the pressure stays the same, what will the volume of the gas be? So let's list what they tell us, okay? So the first thing they give me is a pressure, so P1 is equal to 200 kilopascal. Then they give me a temperature, so T1, T sub 1 is equal to 120 Kelvin, sorry. Then they give us a volume, so V sub 1 is equal to 0.5 liters. And then it says if the temperature, T2, decreases to 80 Kelvin, but the pressure stays the same, so we've got the pressure 2 is the same, which is 200 kilopascal. What's the volume? So over here, I'm going to say P1 times V1 over T1 equals P2 times V sub 2 all over T sub 2. And so what does that look like? I've got P1 times V sub 1, which is 0.5, all over T sub 1, which is 120 Kelvin. And that's equal to P2, which is 200 kilopascal. I don't know what the second volume is, so I just leave that as V sub 2 all over 80 Kelvin. So when you're doing this and you're setting it up right, you should have numbers for everything except for one variable. Now what happens? The pressure was constant. So what happens with this 200 kilopascal and this 200 kilopascal if I divide both sides of the equation by 200 kilopascal? No. They cancel out, thank you. So these are going to end up canceling out. Well, now that makes it a little easier because I just have to cross multiply this number, right? I'm going to cross multiply this, right? So over here I'm going to say 0.5 liters times 80 Kelvin should be equal to 120 Kelvin times V sub 2. And then to find the final volume, I'm going to divide both sides by 120 Kelvin. Now, what's nice about this whole setup is that the kelvins cancel with kelvins. This cancels with this, and I'm left with a volume, and I have liters. So now I just got to plug that into a calculator. So I'm going to say 0.5 times 80, which is 40, but we'll just do it anyways. 0.5 times 80 divided by 120, right? So it's 0.3 repeating, yeah? So then my volume is 0.33 liters. Does that make sense? So when I do all this math, I get 0.33 liters, and so I'm going to put that up here. And that's it. Any questions on that? Now, why did Mr. Adams choose 0.33? Actually, I should have just chose 0.3, right? You got to go with the least number of significant figures. And since this one only had one decimal place, this one should only have one significant figure. Okay, any questions on that one? Okay, let's do number 5, and then by the time we finish number 5, it should be